Good thing cooling systems are optional extras on the Slant 6. I feel like a warning to the public, probably a good idea. I think that's just clutch. I am shocked and appalled. Look, it's a metaphor. You ever put your hand in one of these? Don't worry about it. That's bad. No one called the fire department. Everything's fine. What do you think about all this, Burdens? You always say that. Today on Dead Dodge Garage, I bought a, what is this piece of crap? Nova? Aspen? Duster? That's what the seller said it was. A lair? Let's just call it what it is. A piece of garbage. This is a 1978 Plymouth Volare. And despite having a license plate that says California, it has a body that says Pacific Ocean. So, got that going for me. Pro tip here, if you've got rust problems and you want to make them way worse, fill foam is a really good way to do that. I bought this loosely assembled hunk of scrap metal for exactly one reason. Okay, maybe three reasons. It was really quite affordable. It's a Chrysler product with a Slant 6 even. But really, I only bought it because it's got an extra pedal there. And a lever sticking out of the floor here, which the seller, who admittedly had barely even looked at this thing, told me was attached to a 4-speed. It's actually attached to a very dinky looking 3-speed. I didn't even know they still made these in 1978, but I guess they did. I did just notice this. That floor hump looks very similar to an A body, so that might be important later. If you don't know anything about F bodies, well, that makes two of us. I know they're closely related to A bodies, but not the same. They have transverse torsion bars instead of the traditional front to rear ones, and things are just generally slightly different. But, you know, disc brakes, steelies, dog dishes, and of course the Slant 6, which, let's be honest with ourselves, it's gonna run in 5 minutes. I'd love to show you the engine, but first I have to find it. One of my special talents, you know. Feast your eyes on all of that. It's only a little bit of rat poop. That's pretty good. Original voltage regulator, probably bad. Ignition module, probably bad. Ballast resistor's been done already, several times I imagine. The alternator's missing, but that's fine. It's actually in the back of the truck. It's also brand new. There's a belt somewhere, I hope. It might be on the seat. There's a battery, definitely bad. It's got a single barrel carburetor, so that's almost as disappointing as the lack of a fourth gear in the transmission. It does have a manual gearbox, that's kind of cool. Near as I could tell, it's never been apart. Radiator's original. Hose clamps are original. Man, this is a nice car. I'd really like to look in the carburetor, but the wing nut's rusted solid, so. Okay. Supposedly this thing was driving around the farm 8-ish years ago. And again, it's a Slant 6, so it's probably just gonna run. Oh yeah, this doesn't actually do anything. Loading this thing was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is the way it works.
That's about right.
We didn't need a fifth to get that done.
No.
See that?
I can't get
out. There you go. See what happens. Look at this stuff here. Yeah, there you go.
The keys are missing. Probably in the same folder as the, legal ownership documentation. But the fellow whose property it was sitting on just kind of grabbed the steering wheel and ripped it, and now it spins, so that's pretty cool. I'd love to know what kind of treasure awaits in there, but I don't have a key, so I might just have to grab that and rip. Oh, also this spot is where the spare tire was sitting. I got that too. That's right, bonus. Is that back bumper falling off? Sometimes I can solve the no key problem on Mopars. Let's see if we get lucky. Well, no luck with a trunk key yet, but okay. Well, no such luck on keys, but we have ways around that, I suppose. I don't know why I even bothered checking. That smells exactly how you think it does. Now that's interesting. I didn't unhook the fuel line. Huh. Some of those cylinders even do stuff. I'm gonna run a custom power wire to the feed side of the ballast resistor, which is that one with all the blues on it. The little sparkles here are encouraging. And so are the test spark and clicky solenoid noises over there. And I suppose we should check. Yep, that's oil. It's fine. Coolant's kind of a different story. You know, I was thinking this might be a Barracuda radiator, but probably not. But will it run after sitting abandoned in a field for 12 years? Ah! Guy, not only is it a Chrysler product, it's a Slant 6. Covered myself in gas too. Anyways, pretty much 100%. Oh. Anyway, as I was saying, it's pretty much 100%. New jump box is in the trunk of the Corolla. And that's all the way over there, so that ain't happening. Hey, if you have any pet electric eels, let me know. Love to help them out. Yeah, we'll just drop the one on the Barracuda. It's sitting right here. I've just realized the terminals are backwards, but it's gonna work fine. Anyway, as I was saying, it's a Chrysler product, it's a Slant 6, 100% cheap. On at least some cylinders, anyway. I'll just keep going. All right. Exhaust manifold's cracked, but that's normal Slant 6 stuff. Yeah, so there might be a little valve sealing issue. I don't really like that either. It just does that for fun. You can still hear that skip in it, but I think it picked up one more at least. I'm confident at this point my viewership knows better than to bet against the Slant 6. Oh, come on. That's a losing bet, partner. Come on, this is the good one. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Is this the bad one I took off the green truck? I feel like I threw that one. I don't understand. It's totally doing stuff. I'm getting disappointed. Maybe the filter's clogged. Short answer, maybe. Ah! Just had to hit it harder. Anyway, where was I? Something about losing bets. Hey, that leaks really badly. Total investment so far, $300. Borrowed battery, dead jump box, some fuel in a can, and a pair of pliers. Sounds like the needle's good, so. Oh yeah. Jump start button. I don't know why it does that. I don't think I like it. Think there's fuel? Oh. Oh. Slightly unplugged the ignition wire. That's my bad. Why? That's a big spider. Really? Why? Why do you keep doing that? I heard it run. You heard it run. All right, I'm out of time, so cut to some unknown point in the future where it's probably raining. Today is like 3 tomorrows, because sometimes the best thing to do with these stubborn old hunks of junk is give them a couple days to think about it. These battery cables suck. Anyway, here's where we're at. Might have an intake valve problem. Good thing cooling systems are optional extras on the Slant 6. Gotta put the gas can in the way. Yeah, of course it's just idling. Why wouldn't it be? Pretty much ready to drive to Mexico. The fuel hose was on the exhaust pipe, so well, that could have been bad. Apparently you're supposed to pronounce it Volare. No one's gonna do that. I just noticed I can see the ground through the foam trunk lid and trunk floor, so that's pretty cool. I have to like actually get in this thing now. Ugh. There's stuff growing in here. Also handcuffs for some reason. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Does the brake pedal do stuff? Oh, it does. Doesn't come back though. Party. Doesn't really run very good, does it? It almost wanted to spin both. It did when it hit the rocks. All right. Yeah, I'm thinking it's intake valve. It's kind of puffing out the carburetor. That's interesting. Exhaust valve problems are pretty common on these, but intake's a new one. Once in the Wayback Machine, my brother had a 280Z inline 6, and it didn't run very good at all. We figured out that it had a bad intake valve, despite having a brand new cylinder head. And once we unplugged the spark plug wire for that cylinder, it ran much better. I wonder if the same technique would apply here. This thing actually does still have a mechanical camshaft, you know. No hydraulic lifters. I think it's the last year for that. So it could be an adjustment issue, but I sincerely doubt it. The brake lights work. I almost can't believe it. Of course, they don't turn off.
Now I scrape you off with my stick.
Oh my God, did I get dirt in your face?
Oh, look at this. You're hurting my hand.
Sorry about that.
I can't pull it.
Oh my God. Whew, okay. Nice effort. It's a no, gang. Charging problems on Mopars are pretty common. But if there's one thing I've learned, and you can also learn if you watch my video on Chrysler charging systems, it's that it's never the alternator. In spite of that, this car came with a brand new one, which had been installed but then uninstalled. I thought that was a little weird. I was going to use it anyway until I realized one of the brushes and brush holders just wasn't there. From the looks of things, I don't think it was ever there. I think the rebuilders left it off. That's kind of funny. Anyway, I put the probably perfectly good old one back on. Now we're going to fire it up, find out it doesn't charge, and then we'll replace the voltage regulator, which is almost definitely the problem. Now featuring a slightly smaller auxiliary fuel system, which might not even hit the cooling fan. It charges fine. Okay. Yep. 14.8. Good to go. Of course, the water pump's now spinning. That is extra on one of these, but it's a nice touch. Well, that's not good. Oh, wait. Yes, rebeated. Nice. Oh. Not so much. Maybe more PSIs. You know, these were brand new tires about 16 years ago. They're in really good shape. It's holding. Barely. Before we take it anywhere, I feel like a warning to the public, probably a good idea. Ugh, smells like burning oil, really bad. But it's not this quality unit. Oh. I don't think I like this. Oh, sure, this looks safe. Sheepskin, too, that's... Ugh. Ugh. These were clean pants. Now, I think I mentioned lack of ownership documentation. As I was saying, no title, no registration, out-of-state plates, off the road for 17 years. I'll just fly casual. That's a very annoying noise. Oh yeah, here's my key to turn it off. Good to go. Ow! Oh, that's very hot. Like it never happened. Decided spare fuel might be a good idea. Oh, this was a clean hat too, you know. Anyway, something about begging forgiveness. I'm sure they won't mind. I keep hoping that 6-cylinder will just magically come back, but I don't think we'll be so lucky. Also, do you hear that awful ticking noise? The speedometer works. Nice. Yeah, brakes are mint. Don't want to hear anyone complaining about that. There's a bit of tire noise. First gear is synchronized. I don't know what model trans this is. I don't know. It's a 3-speed. Wasn't me. Thinking burning rat poop smells. But will it do an actual burnout? Might have just been clutch. Yeah. I think that's just clutch. Hey, I think the temperature gauge is working and it's giving me good news. That's cool. Good to mint? On foot or on the bike? Yeah. I think it just burns clutch. It's bad. Got a start. The ticking's getting louder. But I made it to the river and back, so that's not so bad. Now I have to get out again. And I have to shut the car off. Clutch can't be that bad. Oh, come on. Thermostat opened. Radiator's warm. There's no pressure, so that's probably not good news, but hey, I put about a gallon in this thing. Plenty left from all that. It's relatively fuel efficient anyway. I had a point. What was my point? Yeah, it was a new hat. Oh yeah, anyway, my point. This car is a piece of crap, but it's pretty fun. And you know what else? It was very cheap. $300 I paid for this hunk of garbage. I've been asked before, what kind of car should I get? You know, to play with. Muscle car kind of thing. Rear wheel drive. But it's gotta be cheap. May I present to you the F-Body, Volare, and the Aspen, and all the other derivatives thereof. It's almost exactly like an A-Body in every way that matters. And did I mention, they're very cheap. This one's not exactly a restoration candidate, but even a slightly less crappy one, probably not going to set you back very much money. I paid $3,500 for this piece of garbage. Mind you, it also had the V8 and the 4-speed, albeit removed from the car, and some nice parts, but it's a hunk of crap and it's full of Bondo. Obviously, it's much cooler, but you could do all the same stuff with that thing. My personal favorite thing about this car is it literally does not matter what happens to it. I mean, I've paid way more for much less. Now that begs the question, what do I do with this hunk of crap? I don't know. I think I'm at least almost curious enough to pull the valve cover on the Slant 6 and see what horrors await in there. If it's really just a rocker arm adjustment issue and I could get this thing singing on 6 cylinders, that would be pretty exciting. My personal vision for this car includes truck tires, probably no trunk lid, back window, any of that stuff. The catalytic converter and muffler are definitely extra equipment at that point. I'd probably need to weld up the spider gears in the 7 1/4, you know, for off-road traction. I don't know, take this thing out to the woods, see what it's capable of. I could just cut to the chase and crash into a tree now. It's a pretty stout front bumper. Might take a couple trees, really. Someone in a live suggested that I put a 440 in one of these. I'm not gonna do that with this car. It is not deserving. There's always nitrous though. Well, I have wanted to turbo a Slant 6 for a really long time. And I do have one. Anyway, let me know what you think I should do with this thing. If it's nothing in favor of, I don't know, spending 10 minutes on the drag race Barracuda, let me know that too. That's probably the right answer, really. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And remember, that